Okay, so I hear frequently that, geez, I'm not a good golfer because I was a baseball player or what have you. And I constantly will remind people that, if you were a good baseball player, then likely you will be a decent golfer. And conversely, is maybe you weren't that great of a baseball player or baseball hitter to begin with. So here's a few similarities that I see when I look at a couple different players. That's Carlos Correa on the left for the Houston Astros. You'll see once he plants, this was a concept that Kelvin, my hero, would use. He would call that his spin axis. You can see how his body stays inside of a tilted line. And then here's a geometry that I've spoken about a lot in a number of my other videos. Our lowercase letter y, where I draw a line down the lead arm, down the bat, down the trail arm. And if I go back to a couple other positions, I can say, okay, how similar are the arms at the first part of the downswing or the first part of the going toward the pitcher? You can see that the geometric shape of the arms relative to the bat and club are similar. As we move that closer to the ball, where I'll stop it at about parallel to the ground, or the butt end would be facing toward the target. In this case, with Carlos Correa, the butt end of the bat is facing toward the pitcher. You can again, and I'll clear out the screen, you can see how similar the arm geometry is. And then here is kind of the real similarity, is that lowercase letter y, which is just what I call a leverage position when you strike something. So if I draw a line down the lead arm, down the bat, and again, I'm going shoulder through wrist, and then here's the trail arm. You can see DJ has the same or very similar geometry. I guess one difference would be the length of the lead arm in a golf swing, and then the grip in a golf swing, where the thumbs are more on top of the club, whereas in baseball, the thumbs are wrapped around the bat. And then key concept is right after impact, what I like to refer to as the radius of the swing. So again, I'll clear all that out, and I'll draw a line down the left shoulder, through the left wrist to the end of the club head, and the same thing will appear with Carlos Correa. So radius, full radius after the moment of impact. That is such a key contributor to both power, leverage, and consistency. So the lower Y gives us leverage over the ball or object that we're hitting, and the radius allows us to measure. So in golf, whether I'm hitting a wedge shot, I like using, here's a nice simple motion of Bryson DeChambeau, wrist conditions staying the same. So whether we're hitting a wedge or a driver, the appearance would be the same. There are a few other sports that will carry over relative to golf. Basically, think of any stick and ball sport being similar in their geometry. So if I look at Roger Federer hitting a tennis ball, this is just him doing his normal ground stroke as if he is volleying, warming up for a match or a practice. There's the moment of impact. Key here is that the trail wrist is bent back. All right, so there's the trail forearm, there's the racket itself. If I attached a left arm or lead arm to it, there's a form of a lowercase letter y. The more leverage that we want, the more we're going to use the ground. So here's Rafael Nadal really smoking forearm, where he will now use his feet, his femurs, his pelvis, his spine, his body. So he's got rotation. He's actually leaving the ground. And you see a lot of power hitters in golf that will be leaving the ground, striking the ball. Again, there is for a lefty, it would be a backwards lowercase letter y of some sort. So if we were to look at a younger, say a Justin Thomas, someone who also leaves the ground when he's striking. So you can see these players will get into the ground, use their body to leverage, and then what stabilizes the club, again, is that same basic geometry of the lowercase letter y. And then we'll see nice sturdy wrists and a good radius through and after impact. I hope that this advice today helped you. Please subscribe to our YouTube page. Keep the comments and questions coming. We love answering them, and that helps us to prepare to make more videos for you. I'm Marty Nowicki, Impact Snap Turning Stone. We'll see you next time.